Hi everyone, welcome to today's trade of the day, and for today's trade of the day we will be looking at Aussie dollar. Right, Aussie dollar has a very nice configuration on the 4 hours, okay, but before we go there, let me start with the daily. Right, so on Aussie dollar, okay, we see that price, okay, if we were to start all the way from the bottom, it will be a bit tough, so I just want to look from here, where price consolidated. Price actually made a low over here, right? And then follow that, price really pushed up to a high. After that, price came back down to make a low, okay? And we see that price is coming up to the previous high, right? If price breaks above on the daily, if price breaks above the previous high, we can then confirm that price could go even higher, ultimately making this a long-term uptrend trade, right? So on the long term, we are generally bullish, okay, but I just want to point out something first. Let's just put a resistance over here. Okay, I'm just going to use this as a resistance. Okay, and let's quickly go down to the 4 hour. Let's go back to the 4 hour. Now on the 4 hour, I'm just going to tidy this up. Okay, and I want to zoom in on this recent area. Now, in terms of fractal market hypothesis, right, where big picture, the patterns tend to be repeated on a smaller time frame, we are seeing the same thing again, okay, where price made a low, made a high, made a higher low, made a higher high, made a higher low, okay, price made a slightly higher high, made a higher low, okay, and then price made a higher high. So now price has made a higher low, we can expect price to at least push up to the daily resistance. And if we were to connect all these lows, right, with a trend line of sorts, okay, we try to touch as many candles as possible without cutting the candle body, okay. Alright, and just zoom in onto this area. We see that price could very well come back to test this ascending trend line support. And using this as one entire movement, okay, we can use Fibonacci retracement, okay, from the low to the high, okay, open all Fibonacci ratios. Alright, we see that it is possible for price to come back down to the 50% level, and the 50% level seems like a very strong support level, okay. So we can use this as support with our target resistance over there. Now if we were to look to the left, okay, we'll look to the left, just extend this line further, we see that the 50% level is actually at a very nice level where we see price was resistance in the past, right, and then price broke above and it became support. Okay, so we can expect price to come back down, retest and push higher again. Alright, so that will be our 50% support level. So let me just highlight the 50%. Now, while waiting for price to come back down to this level, the question is, what are we going to do? Of course, we are bullish because we want to play in line with the long-term trend. Alright, let's go down to the 1 hour, see whether there are any other opportunities at all. Okay, and we can actually tidy up the trend line over here. You can tidy up the trend line. Not the best trend line because it doesn't take anything in the middle. However, I'm just wondering whether this could actually be a channel. Right, and it seems like this, we really are in an ascending channel. Okay. So price tested the top of the channel multiple times. Alright, and we are waiting to see whether price will push up. There are two alternatives now. One is price just pushing straight up from here. Okay, another alternative is price coming down to test the 50% on the 4 hour and then pushing higher. Alright, but one thing is for certain is that we are bullish. Alright, so I just want to use a retracement of the last move down. High to low and open all Fibonacci ratios. We see that price is actually holding at a 50% overlap. If it's a bit hard to see, you can change to close and you can see that there's a graphical overlap here where price failed to break. So since price failed to break the 50%, it could very well drift down back to our initial entry, right? So I'm going to zoom back out to the 4 hour, alright, and just keep things as simple as possible. Okay, so we'll use this 50% as our buy entry, and this daily resistance as our full take profit. Now we want to find out where is a nice place to put the stop loss, and the stop loss is always a level which we know for sure our trade is wrong. So I'm just going to bring out the 61.8 retracement just to serve as sort of a guide, and then I'm going to put my stop loss slightly beyond the 61.8. Alright, this is to give my trade a bit of room to breathe, so I will not be prematurely stopped out. Now last but not least, we can actually include moving average, alright, to serve as sort of a final nail in the coffin confirmation, okay, for the trend of the trade. 9 is too sensitive. Normally I use Fibonacci number such as 21, alright, or 34. So I'm looking for a nice Fibonacci support level for moving average, okay, that follows the trend nicely. Now we see over here we see that the price doesn't really, the trend line doesn't really, I mean the moving average doesn't really hold the price when markets are trending. Alright, so I'm just going to back it up a bit, use another number, say maybe let's look at 55. Okay, so when markets are on an uptrend, look at the moving average, the natural moving average is holding price very well. Every time price tests the 55, it reacts. Test the 55, reacts. So now we have price testing the 55 here. Okay, it could come back and test the 55 again before reacting. Alright, so that's the time that we have for today. Thanks for everyone for tuning into today's trade of the day. I wish you guys all the best. Take care and stay safe. And I'll catch you guys the next time round.